There are two ways to help your adult children learn responsibility. Let's talk about it. Stick around to the end, and I will share with you what I did and why I did what I did with my children in order to help them navigate through adulthood. First method is allowing your young adult child to stay home. Now, I would make sure that I set clear expectations, between the parent and the child. What you expect out of your child as far as chores, as far as helping pay bills, coming up with a plan. So within the next 2 years, you want to see them in this particular area, or if they set their own goals and share them with you, and y'all review those goals, and as long as it makes sense. So staying home, having goals, review those goals, write them down, making sure that it's something that's not too far-fetched is what I'm saying. The next benefit of keeping your child at home, if they agree, is they can save money while they're going to school, while they're going to the trade school, while they're going to college, or while they're working on their personal business that they're building. While they're doing all of that, they can be saving money. Now, just because they're at home saving money, I'm going right back to, they still have responsibility, because they could be off on their own with a roommate paying rent, splitting that rent and paying or paying full rent in their own apartment or whatever, or renting a house, but they have the privilege of staying at home. And while you're staying at home, you do need to start paying bills. Paying bills only get you in the groove of understanding how to live as an adult. And me personally, I don't know how much you as a parent, I don't know how much information you want to give your child or your adult child, but I would let them physically be the ones responsible for paying the water bill, paying the electric bill, whichever one you choose, and let them physically pay it monthly, So what that's doing is letting them understand letting them understand how to navigate life. Don't get up on your own and be like, I didn't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. My parents never showed me. I don't know how. If you're teaching your child this stuff already in high school or junior high school or whatever, that's perfect. That's perfect. But I'm just more speaking about, where do we go once your child becomes an adult? Do you let them stay home? Do you encourage them to move out? What do you do? So, but the next benefit of being at home is, like I said, they're saving their money. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to probably need a car. So this is my advice for present time. I'm not talking about back in the years back or whatever. I'm talking about right now. I would not get what's the newest, hottest car on the market, the bigger and the best car on the market. No. We're looking for cash cars. We're looking for reliable cars that you can pay cash for, or if you just have to have that newer car, it could be a used car from a dealership, from the car lot. Save up for it, pay cash for it, or still save up enough money to the point to where you build your checking account up where you can make that monthly payment every month. Because just because you're home doesn't mean that your parents are going to be paying your bills for you. You're at home in order to get a good start in life. That's the purpose of being at home, is to get a good start in life, and you have your parents right there with you. And you may even be trying to work on a business. You may have a business that you have in mind that you're trying to get started, and you need, it calls for a lot of overhead. So while you're at home, make the most of it. Save your money, start that business. Don't stay at home and do nothing. Stay at home and take advantage of the opportunity. Take advantage of the opportunity. The purpose of staying at home is to have a great start, have a good start, not just to sit at home and hang out with your friends, coming home late, showing no respect, because that's the biggest thing when it comes to you as an adult child trying to navigate life. You have to have respect for your parents. You have to have respect for your parents' household. So, and parents, I'm telling you this. So if your child is acting like they don't want to respect your household, I mean, it's up to you to keep your child at home or make them leave because of their behavior, basically. Not because you don't want them there, but because of their behavior. Okay? Okay, I talked about the good part. Let's talk about the bad part. The bad part, in my opinion, is you as a parent, you know what your goal is. Your goal is to help your child. You want to be there for your child. You want, you have goals set for your child. Your child has goals set that y'all have spoken about. But then years pass by and you realize none of the goals have been reached. You realize that your child is really slacking. You realize that every time you mention it to your child about their goals that they had planned, they don't really want to talk about it. They are getting an attitude with you. Now it's to the point to where they really don't want to go to work for whatever reason, and they need a couple of more months to get themselves together before they find another job. They're going to help with the bills. They are late on their portion of the bills. So you start seeing a cycle of things that are happening because this child is comfortable. You see, you allow your child, your dear child that you love so much, you allow them to get comfortable. Now it's to the point to where in the beginning, it was all fun and games. Everything sounded good. But now the real is coming out now. Now it's to the point to where years later, you know, your child is moving more and more into adulthood. You know what I'm saying? Now you really can't get them to move out. You really are seeing now that they are not motivated to do anything more in life. What do you do? At that point, and this is a real serious question, if somebody is dealing with this and know what the answer is, put it in the comments because somebody is watching and listening and need advice. Somebody's watching and listening and need advice. How do you get your adult child motivated to do something for themselves? How do you get your adult child to get a job? How do you get your adult child to become an adult and be more responsible? Okay, so that is the downfall, the con of having or allowing your adult child staying with you after high school. So now let's move on to, so next thing, some parents have already talked to their children throughout junior high school, throughout high school, and they have already come up to the idea that the child is going to go to college. They're going to go to college, and that parent feels safe with them going to college. That parent feels confident that that child will navigate through college life just fine because they have already prepped them for being away, prepped them for being on their own. They already know how to pay the bills. They already know what things mean. They already know about money. They already know about savings. That's the route that I took. When my children graduated from high school, that very next semester was off to college. And we navigated becoming an adult at a distance. I wanted that distance in between us. I didn't want you to be scared for whatever reason and just conveniently drive home. I didn't want you to be bored and conveniently drive home. I want it to I wanted it to a point to where if you decide to drive home, you're gonna have to figure out the gas. You're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna get your money for the gas. You're gonna have to figure it out. I structured things in a particular way on purpose. Okay, so yeah, so I took the route of you graduate, you get out, but it wasn't a get out in a bad way. It was more of a get out so you can get out there and navigate life. But I'm here. I was there. If you came up with any problems, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk it out. We're going to figure it out. Go to college, go away, go figure it out on your own. But I am here in case you need me. I chose that, but let me tell you the reason. I was afraid of dying. If you're watching this and if you can understand what I'm saying, leave me a comment. I was afraid of dying. And what I mean by that is if I had kept my children at home, we don't know when our last day is. We don't know. We don't know. Okay. So my worry was, what if I babied my children? What if I kept them at home? What if I, helped them every single little bitty moment I helped them? And let's just say if I passed away. I was more worried about myself passing away and leaving my children to fend for themselves. I pass away, they've never been out on their own, they've never had their own apartment, they have never had to deal with adversity, they've never had to deal with confrontation. They wouldn't have known how to save money, they would have known how to make sound decisions when it comes to business and financial matters. They wouldn't have known how to do any of that. And if I had passed away without coaching my children while they're off on their own, that scared me more than anything else, because nobody can teach your child about life better than you can. That's the reason why I chose to let my child or children go out. That's why I chose the go out route. I chose to move out. You don't have to move out. So that's that. I just want to tell that part of the story. Even at this moment right here, as I make this video, I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. I'm very proud of myself and I'm proud of my children, and they are doing really good. All right, so if y'all like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I will see y'all on the next episode.